service of ire.
Welcome back! It is time for the third best of 3 of the night. It is time for another STX player, Trap, a teammate of Bogus, to face SuperNova, recently joining MTW.
Yep, and Protoss versus Terran that we are going to witness now. And we have a trend today. By the way, here we have the match that you just saw, Bogus defeating Bomber and therefore meeting Happy in the third round of Code A.
TBT, as we said earlier, TBT row for these guys.
But as I was just about to say, we have a little bit of a trend today. Every single match so far in today's games where we've seen a Casper player face a Federation player, the Casper player won.
2-0 in fact, and all of them, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So the trend may continue here.
This is the last one. After this game, we have a Zerg versus Terran without Casper participation. So now Trap is the last Casper player to play today. And if he is able to win against SuperNova, then we have 4 Casper players advancing over Federation players.
You can see this guy was seeded based on his performance, currently rated 1-0. Was able to advance his last match, and SuperNova, Terran has been around forever. This guy, I think, still hasn't realized all of his potential. It's a shame that OGS actually disbanded. He's one of many fragments. A lot of OGS players recently joining Axiom, including Top, Vines, and Inca, but OGS players are finally now kind of settled into where they are. SuperNova joining a foreign team, MTW, seems to be really happy with them, but he doesn't have a team house really to live and practice in right now.
Trap, on the other hand, he was pretty successful in the Protoss versus Protoss that he played in round 1 against the Fnatic player Oz. Took him down with a 2-0. Now he's facing a Terran player. We'll find out how strong he is these days in this matchup. The last PBT that he played was against Alive and Puma at the MLG vs Pro League Invitational. Against Alive, he ended up being at a 1-1 score, and he was able to win against Puma with a 2-0. So let's see what's going to happen when he's up against SuperNova. The games are about to start, ladies and gentlemen. The GSL Code A brought to you by Carlo Wolf, and this is SuperNova up against Trap. Watch out, guys, for the guy at the bottom left of the map, because this is definitely
STX's sword, Trap.
Admiral Akbar warned us about this guy.
Yeah, he did. Back in the days, he knew. He could look into the future, he knew about the Protoss player for STX. But did you know about the MTW player? Starting to the top right, burning brighter than the sun, this is
MTW SuperNova.
starting things off with a gas first.
Yes. This gas first into Reactor Hellion, drop into the Protoss main with Marines is so strong right now. It's like, if you're not doing this build, you're just not cool. I mean, it's so good that basically you can't you can't not transition. Like, you will always do some damage.
Look at this winner prediction. Not a lot of people believe in Trap. 18%. Everyone else like, yeah, SuperNova is gonna crush him.
Yeah, well, he definitely has a lot more experience.
Yes, that is true. He has way more experience than Trap in StarCraft 2, at least, that is. But Trap played well in the past against Oz with a 2-0 victory. Let's see how good he looks in the Terran versus Protoss, especially when he's up against a player like SuperNova.
Yeah, we'll see indeed.
You know, SuperNova has been struggling a little bit against Protoss. In Terran versus Terran, he was playing so well. But against JYP, for example, in Codes, he had to play the Protoss player twice, and he lost both encounters without winning a single map.
By the way, we have second gas again for Trap. I say again because we keep seeing Frost take the second gas before Expand right now.
Just to interrupt you there, because I'm actually the thing is, the recent matches against Protoss, he was not that successful, but before that, you remember these pushes that he had with the siege tanks as well. That's when he really was shining in the matchup against Protoss. But just the last 3 games, I'd say, that's where he had a lot of problems. But We'll see what kind of SuperNova we are going to witness today. The guy who is just merciless and pushed into his opponent's base, taking him out without having even a close fight, or will we see the SuperNova that was not able to win a single map against JYP?
What is this pylon going to be for? It could be for a lot of things. It could just be for the spot later on. We've seen a lot of players, especially Casper players, put pylons down to spot SCVs so they can deny scouting a lot better. I mean, it's not a useless pylon because it's not going to be killed, and also it's just a pylon that you can use straight up as your pylon that you would make at that time anyways. It looks like he's just going to put an Nexus down, but he's got this extra gas and a pylon out to the side. And we are seeing that build from SuperNova with the Hellions, Reactor Hellions with the drop.
And also with the double gas, he can go into Banshees here right away. He doesn't have to stick it out with Hellions and elevator play into the main base.
Most people are going into siege tanks with this. We've seen this quite a lot recently, but it looks like it is going to be Banshees, considering that he is putting that on the tech lab. A lot of switching around going over there with those add-ons.
Yeah, he's going in right away, and he will start his cloak upgrade. There it is. Goes for a cloak Banshee play. And let's see how exactly Trap is going to respond to this.
This is pretty cool, because what he's going to show here with these Hellions is going to make Trap think that he's going to be facing this type of play with Hellions. He may think he can cut the Robo out, but actually that's not going to be the case. He needs that detection for the cloaking that he's going to face.
There's the robotics, building it now. He knows, of course, that there is always danger of being attacked with cloak units.
And the Banshees are going to be a big problem, even with robotics. With the timing of the Robo coming out here, it's probably not going to have 2 observers. The Banshees can fly between base. It's very difficult to defend. One thing I really like about Trap is he's got 2 pylons actually on the exact same location on both sides of the map. One over here, and of course the other one over at the 3rd base. This is going to allow him not only to spot attacks and drops maybe in the late game if the game goes that far, but it's going to let him see potentially the Banshees across the map as well.
SuperNova, on the other hand, he spotted one of the pylons already, so he will make sure that his Banshee is not flying into the vision of the pylon. But the second one is now heading out, and yes, we have an observer being chrono boosted, but the Banshees have not been detected, not been spotted. Let's see how much damage SuperNova can do with this. The second one is already being built, cloak, finished. He's ready. He's going for an expansion at the same time, but how many probes will he be able to kill? Especially with Trap already setting every single Stalker into the right position. And yeah, and also his observer.
You know what's so funny? Well, I'll talk about in a second. He's probably going to lose his Banshee.
Oh, nope. Wow. 6 hit points.
6 hit points left. The pylon on the right side of the map is why he saw that Banshee. I'll explain. As soon as the pylon was spotted by one Hellion, he pulled the second Hellion off of the watchtower, which allowed Trap to get his probe on the watchtower for just a second, which let him see the Banshee, which made him change his rally point from the observer. So actually that pylon is the reason why he sees the Banshee.
I didn't even see this probe. That's actually really interesting that he just said that, because I was wondering why he put everything into exactly the perfect position and rallied his observer out immediately. So thanks for mentioning that. It completely slipped my attention here.
Because if he had left the Hellion there and only had one Hellion killing this pylon, which is about to die, then the probe would not have been on the watchtower. Well, it wouldn't have gotten the watchtower and died. He wouldn't have gotten vision. Then he wouldn't have seen the Banshee, and this Banshee could have done a lot more. So that pylon on the right side is a big story here.
The Banshee didn't do anything if you think about it. Yes, it's still lingering at the bottom left, so it's a constant threat to the Protoss player, which is always annoying, but with only 6 hit points, one shot will take it out.
Yeah, SuperNova is going to be scared to use it. In fact, he'll probably only use it if he sees Trap move out on the map. Look at this. He's got the Observer on the second base as well, his main now, and the Banshee has no angle of approach. Both bases have enough units to get that. And Trap takes a significant supply lead here, 70 versus 54. SuperNova is heavily supply blocked right now, just starts his depot. It's because his command center is about to finish, but he lost a lot of time there.
I talked a little bit about the losses that SuperNova had against JYP. Let's talk a little bit about the wins that he was able to edge out against Protoss players. He was able to win against players like Vampire, Creator. He actually beat both of those guys twice in the last few weeks. Also another 1-0 against Killer. So in the up and downs, he had to face a lot of Protoss players, and they struggled against SuperNova's style. JYP was basically the first Protoss who was really showing SuperNova his limits. And now those Stalkers are taking out the few Hellions who were able to sneak in. 5 Harvesters killed in total.
Yeah, I think he only got 1 with that attack also. He's lost a lot of Harvesters, just like scouting Harvesters. He lost that probe to the right. He lost one in the natural as well. Banshee decloaks, is on the retreat. No real damage done here. SuperNova is desperate to make something work here. His biggest concern is going to be this third base. As soon as he sees it with the factory, he's going to be like, how do I approach? is there anything I can do here? The upgrades are even. With Chrono Boost, Trap will actually pull further ahead. He's got the Templar Archives coming up and the extra gateways he needs for production.
Trav is playing a very strong straight-up game here. He moves. He tries to get into a position here where we have still the Banshee at the bottom left, but the third base for Trap is going up. And we have SuperNova also getting his third orbital right now. Lands it at the mineral line to the right side of the map. But if you just watch the production tab here, we have upgrades coming up, the charge upgrade, we have Templar Archive, 4 Storm. So he's just setting everything up for the later stages of the game.
Okay.
And so far, SuperNova with those Banshees couldn't do too much, but now he's headed out with a double drop and also with probe. Brilliant. Best scouting timing ever.
This is really cool because this Raven serves multi-purposes. He wants to snipe the Observer and drop point defense drone and potentially even an auto turret. Good feedbacks here, and it is everything is shut down. The probe again, Trap just extremely map aware. Yeah, it was a coincidence, but it was a coincidence because he was trying to scout. I mean, it was a coincidence that the probe happened to hit the Benevacs at that exact moment, but because he was looking around trying to put pylons on the map, he was able to see it. He's just very map aware. SuperNova is not going to catch him off guard ever if he continues to play like this.
That was just a slap in the face. Yeah, he tried to go in with a drop, with Banshees, nothing works. Trap every single time has his units in position, has a scout there, knows what's coming. So far, SuperNova was not able to put any pressure on his opponent. Yeah. And now, Storm is done. So yes, Storm, whereas we don't see a Ghost Academy yet. He saw the High Templars though, we should see a Ghost Academy pretty soon for SuperNova.
The Observer's going to get away. That was an ironic situation.
Yeah, it's not Creator.
Not quite. The 2 cannons go down.
There's the Ghost Academy.
Very careful. You're right, there's the Ghost Academy. He can't attack before that. If he tries to attack into these Templar, he doesn't realize Storm is done necessarily, but if he does it, it's going to be a mistake.
+2/+2 is a little bit faster for Trap. Setting up cannons now in order to defend his expansions because he knows that spread out as he is, he will have a bit of a problem if SuperNova starts a multi-prong attack.
Speaking of multi-prong attacks, harassment here with several SCVs killed by themselves. He is shut down, but damage was done and it forces SuperNova back. The supplies are really even, and SuperNova, despite the fact that all of his harass has been shut down, he hasn't lost anything. He didn't lose his Banshees, he didn't lose that drop that was spotted. So he's in a position where, yeah, he wasn't able to do damage with the resources he committed into these harassment units, but he didn't lose the harassment units, which are now part of his army, including the Raven and the Banshees.
That's of course really important. That's so right and so important that you mentioned that. The Banshee to the bottom left with the 6 hit points is still alive.
Yeah.
Wishing that it was a Mutalisk, could regenerate hit points. Not gonna happen.
Wants a science vessel to come and fly by. But not gonna happen. The situation is, again, dead even in supply. The switch, though, becomes scarier and scarier. Trap is switching into Colossi, and without Vikings to deal with that, SuperNova is going to be in trouble. He also lost a little mining time here.
Yeah, these run-bys are really annoying, aren't they? The pylon to the low ground is posing a constant threat to SuperNova's economy.
There's no way he planned this for him. I'm actually... I know he doesn't get what he wants, but I thought... Do you think it's possible that he kept that Templar there knowing that units would come and attack the pylon? That's weird. That's actually, I'm like, he could see the future, or he is like some sort of super genius. I have no idea. I mean, think about it. Imagine if he ran his entire army up that ramp and just one storm hit it.
Yep.
That could have happened, and that almost happened.
I like that we see the Warp Prism speed now coming up. So Trav wants to be a little bit aggressive and go also for a drop play here. Maybe save his High Templars from EMPs. Let's find out what exactly he's up to. The upgrades, as mentioned, are faster for Trap. He's heading towards +3/+3, whereas SuperNova just started his armor upgrade. But this engagement is going to be an interesting one. Immediately in feedback.
Yeah, that Raven didn't stand a chance against that feedback. I love the spell feedback. It's just so cool. High Templar are really brave out here. They have the Watchtower, but if they get 2 ghosts like ghosts, they're going to get sniped. Trap with 171 energy on a Templar. He's sneaking around the north. He's got these sneaky Templar. He's like, oh, Stalker over here, come and attack me.
To the top right, Storm drop, but nice dodge by SuperNova.
And that's the bottom. I'm talking about.
Oh my god.
That's the kind of trap that you can set up with
the
High
dog
Templar.
runs into the studio. It's loose again. Who let the dogs out? I don't know.
Well, Templar run into the studio of SuperNova where he is losing depots. He's forced to attack here, but there are 2 Templar 4 storms are waiting.
Wolf, the Startail dog is harassing.
I'm sorry to hear
nice
that.
storm here for Trap though.
Good EMP. Ghosts are exposed.
Oh
Force
god,
as well.
the force fields are great. SuperNova is going to get slaughtered if he doesn't pay attention. He still has you in the back, and now a nice pickup with the medivac. 136 supply are left, but Trap is reinforcing immediately, pushing SuperNova back. The MTW player is in so much trouble now.
And GG.
SuperNova loses the first game. The Startail dog is still loose in the studio.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the dog behind the curtain. Trap is, you know, we talked about this a lot. Rain was not able to advance into the Code S finals, but Trap is looking as good as Rain did in some of his games in that last game. There's a word for what he did. It's called map awareness, but what he did was like beyond that. It was like he could see the mini-map at all times while microing his units. There was nothing that ever escaped his knowledge. It's like he had map hacks.
Yeah.
No drop, no Banshee harass, no move out. He set up traps with his Templar. He tried to bait units into his storm.
The first two storms that we've seen were actually also due to the fact that he stormed up into his opponent's base. SuperNova saw what's coming and he pulled the SCVs back, but at the same time that Trap executed two storms in the mineral line that didn't really do that much, he stormed the main army of SuperNova, and SuperNova walked right into that trap. Game 2 is now about to start though. As you can see, it's going to happen on Entombed Valley. We are already on the loading screen. Trap is ahead with a 1-0 against SuperNova in this Protoss versus Terran. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. The second round of Code A is underway. Trap up against SuperNova.